Hey, what's up, YouTubers? All right, guys. So in this video, we're gonna focus on cleaning up our dashboard. So as you know, our dashboard has quite a lot of components that are set up within here. And going forward, it's not gonna be easy to work with how currently our dashboard is set up. So we're gonna clean up some of these stuff, some of the components we have within our dashboard, and then we're going to separate them within components. So originally, this is how, when we designed our application, this is how our dashboard is currently going to look. This is how it's currently set up. And as you know, when you click on the, it displays this this transact off canvas that comes from the right, and then obviously depending on which transaction option we're selecting, it displays the forms. And then even this one here, it brings out this create account canvas that comes from the right, and then even this button here. So what we're going to do is we're first going to start off by separating this this section here. So starting from there, ending here where the accordion ends, we're gonna cut out this what you call it, this section here. And then obviously when the user logs in, um depending on whether they do have accounts or not, it'll either display this no registered accounts component that we got down here, or it's going to display this one over here. All right. So the first thing we need to do before we continue with that is that, if you remember, in the app controller, we were pulling the user session, and then the user attribute was stored within the session. And then here we're listing accounts, here we're listing the balance and all of that. So we have to comment these out for the time being, because remember, it's looking for the user ID, which is not yet set because we haven't set it up within our accounts, what you call it, authentication controller. So let's comment that one out. These two at the bottom, along with this one, and also with this one. Okay. The other thing is this. Now, if you check within the app controller, right? I opened this up when I was offline. So if you check that URL there, it says app and then dashboard. So now, even though this dashboard file is sitting in the same root as the login index and whatnot, but for the mere fact that to access it, we need to first say app, and then after that, it's gonna say dashboard. What we first need to do now is rectify that, because okay, it's not gonna show here. So, but here within the dashboard page, um, I changed it when I was offline. So let me show you how this looked initially. So it looked like this. Or let's use the registration page. So the registration form or page is sitting within the root, and so therefore, because within our config, we set up that anywhere where you find a page that has this particular directory structure, this is basically telling the machine, the application, or the server, that these files are going to be sitting within the um, static folder, and so forth. So this is where you will find the resources like CSS files, images, and JS. So now, because the dashboard is still sitting in the same root, but how we access it, it starts off with the app, what you call it, URI, and then it's the dashboard URI. How this is going to be treated is that this dashboard file is sitting in a folder called app, and then that's when you access the folder. So that's why over here, as you can see, what I did was I said uh, double 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 what you call it, is it double dots or whatever, and then backslash. So I'm telling this to go back one directory, and then this is where you will find the resources, as per our app configuration here. So in the dashboard, if you were following along with what I was doing, just make sure that all the resource files that were like this originally, like how it's sitting here um, within the registration page, just change only the dashboard, not the registration page. All the other pages are fine, just the dashboard. Just make sure you put a double full stop over there, or what do you call it, double comma or whatever. So just change all your resources to go back one directory, and then when you load the page, it should display correctly. So make sure you do that for all the resource files, like the JS files. And we have another one at the bottom of the body, which is the main JS file. That's the file that we're using to create that creates this functionality here where the files are switching in between with each other. All right. So now let's start off by taking this accordion, or let's start off with this one, the one at the bottom. This one should be easy to take. So in the JSP folder here, let's create another folder, and then we're going to call this components. Okay. And in here, we're going to create another JSP file. We're going to call this no accounts. Let's call this no accounts display.jsp, right? We're going to call that. Now in the dashboard, we're going to come. Remember, when we did the card, we called this no accounts. So this part over here is this part here. It's right before the bottom, right before the bottom script. That's if you were following along. So we're gonna cut this part out over here. We're gonna cut it out, and then we're gonna paste it here within the no accounts.jsp page. So, and then paste it. And then the other thing is this: I want us these tags here at the top. Just cut them, or just copy them, and then also paste them here at the top, because sometimes we might need to use some of these tags within the application. So but for now, just cut that out, and then make sure you include these. So we're going to do this with almost every page where we set up the tags at the top and so forth, because when we include them within the application, it doesn't pick up. So but I'll show you once we get to the to display these components. All right, so now the other one is this one, the container, where it says accordion drop down and so forth. So again, if you were following along, you should be able to have this. So but from this one is we also remember this one has this button and the totals account showing here. So we're gonna take all of this here, and put it into a separate component. So let's see, add new account. This is where it starts, right? This is where it starts, where it says container. As you can see, that's the transact button, and then that's the add new account button. That's this section over here. And then right after them, it's the section where it shows the total accounts balance, as you can see there. So start from here where it says container, if you were doing what I was doing, and then up until the bottom part here where it says drop down. So we're gonna cut that out. Again, we're gonna create a component here. We're gonna say accounts display, right, .jsp, and then say save. And then in here, we're gonna paste all of that we just cut out. And again, we're gonna take these tags, and then we're gonna put them at the top. All right. So now we've cut out these two sections over here. We've cut those out, right? Right. And then now, I mean, sorry, we cut out the accordion and along with these two buttons at the top and along with this, right? So now in the dashboard again, so here let's leave a comment. We will say something like uh, display accounts, and yeah, or it's gonna be uh, don't uh, display accounts. We will get back to this, don't worry about this. All right, let's save that. All right, so now these are the off canvas, right? So remember, we have two off canvases. We have one for the left, I mean the right side, for adding accounts, this one, and then we have the one on the right where it displays the transaction forms. Okay, so what we then need to do within here is that I'm gonna cut out. This is the right side of canvas. This is where it ends. right? And then this is where it begins. So this is the transact component. This is the one for the accounts component. So we're gonna cut this one out as well, right? Cut that, and then here we create a JSP file. We call it head account of canvas.jsp, right? Save that, and then we're gonna display it here, right? And again, we take those tags at the top, and then paste it at the top of this page. I'm just putting them here just so in case we might need them, even though I don't think we're going to use it within the add accounts of canvas, right? So now we can take, so now remember, this one has a number of forms within it. So we're first going to cut out here. Let's do this. Let's go to the top. Okay, so this is the end of the header, right? This is the end of the header, which is this blue navigation bar at the top here, right? So we take, like I said before, the off canvas can sit anywhere because when you click on the button, they overlay on top of all the elements. So we don't need to stress as to where, but it's better to just put them at the top. So this one is the transaction off canvas, right? We cut that out. We're gonna add another file in here. We're gonna say transact off canvas .jsp, right? Paste that in there. Take those tags at the top and paste them within the transact off canvas. All right, this one we definitely gonna need within here because we're gonna use it to display the accounts, right? Okay, so now before we go anywhere, so remember we have multiple forms in here: the payment, transfer, deposit, withdraw. Now I want to set components for those. So in here I'm gonna create a file folder. I'm gonna say transact forms. Okay, and then let's start by creating the payment form .jsp, and then we're gonna create another one. It's gonna be the transfer form .jsp, right? Then we're gonna create the deposit form and then .jsp, and then we're gonna create the withdraw one. Okay, form .jsp. Okay, all right. So I wanted to start off with the forms because that's the most complicated one, or rather the most messy one. All right, let's close off all these tags, right? Okay, so this is where the header ends, and then this is our where it begins at the top here. So we'll also create a component for this, but let's leave this one for now, right? Oh, and like you know what? Actually, I think let's just create another folder within here, right? You're gonna say that one is gonna be much easier. So we're just gonna say include, or rather let's just say incl, right? And then in here we're gonna say let's just call it header.jsp, right? So in here we can cut this header here that we set up, right? We're gonna cut that there. We're gonna paste it within here. Again, I'm gonna take those tags at the top. Well, we actually don't have them in here. Let's copy that from the register and header. So in the header we put those at the top, and then also within the dashboard just put them at the top. I'll explain this a bit later, so don't stress about it. So in any case, now here we can include the header. Let's start with the header. So we can say c import, right? And then we're gonna say URL will equal to, we're gonna say components, right? and then we're gonna say incl, which is include, and then we say header.jsp. Okay, and then we close off that tag. All right, so sorry, it's supposed to be C, right? C import URL, and then this will include the header that we just pasted here within the header.jsp file. All right, let's copy this. Let's put it here at the bottom. Yeah. So this part here is going to be the footer. So in here we're going to say file and then footer.jsp and paste it, and then we're going to paste it there. We don't need to include those tags here. It's just what you call it, the JSP file. So we need to make sure, but that we do include it. .jsp, correct? All right. So those are the header and footer, right? Now, what we then need to work on is the transact forms first. All right. So in the transact of canvas, right? This is where um, this is this section here with all of the forms. Even though here they display one by one, within the file itself, it's quite a long file. If you go down all the way down, you'll see that it's quite a number of things within here. So let's start with the payment form, right? So the payment form or the payment card starts here, like so. The drop down selection, um, this one, this part here, this one we can leave as is. Okay, we can leave it. It's this one over here. So, but all we need is the payment card, and then the payment card ends over here where it says end of payment card. So we're gonna cut this part out, right? We're gonna cut this part out, and then we're gonna come here where we created the transact forms folder, and then go to the payment card, and then we're gonna paste it here. And then again, the same thing we did. You're gonna need to take these tags and then just paste them at the top. Space that out, and then the next one should be, let's see, let's go back to the transact of canvas. So the next one is the transfer card. As you can see, it starts there and then it ends over here. You want to cut that out, um, transfer, right, and then we paste that in there. Okay, so let's take those, we need to take those tags again. Let's go to the payments. In fact, you know what, I'm going to copy this now, then I'm going to paste it here at the top. And then you know what, I'm going to come into the withdraw form and just paste it at the top there, and then the deposit form, we paste it at the top there. Okay, so at least now we know we don't have to keep reusing it. All right, so the payment is taken, the transfer form is taken, so now we need the deposit card. We're going to take that deposit card, we cut that out, right, and then we're going to come here where it says deposit form, paste that there. All right, the next one is the withdraw card, so we're going to cut out from there up until it says here at the end where it says end of withdraw card. Cut that out, and then we're going to come back to the withdraw form and then paste it there. Okay, so now that we have this, we can then now come back to the transact form, and then here is where we're gonna import those files the same way we did within this one here. Okay, so now here within the off canvas, which is this file over here, we're gonna come here and just include, just I copied what we did here within the dashboard, right, and I'm pasting it here within the imports. I'm importing it here within the off canvas. So now here how we're gonna include this. Now remember, these forms and off canvas files are still sitting, how the system is going to treat it is that they are still sitting within the dashboard. So but here when we include it, you might think that because it's the transact form and you just have to go one directory, like for example transact, actually no, you might think that you don't need to include this components folder, and all you have to do is say transact forms, and then include the payments what is it? Payments, payment. Oh, sorry, it's payment form, not payments, right? Form like that, but it's not gonna work because it's gonna tell you that it doesn't see this. So because this off canvas file is still sitting within the dashboard, you have to put the fully qualified name. So it has to be components, and then that's it, right? So it's components transact form. So how it's sitting is this. Here's the dashboard. So you go into components, transact forms, and that's it. And that's how you place it there, right? So it's payment form dot JSP. And the other thing is this: make sure you put them according to how we set them up originally, right? So remember, it was the payments form first, then the transfer form, then it was deposit, then withdraw. So make sure you do that, otherwise our JavaScript is not going to work. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it a couple of times, right? So it was the, what's the other one? Transfer form, right? Transfer form, okay? And then we need the deposit form, deposit form underscore. And then here we got the withdraw, right? Withdraw form, right? Make sure we got the names right. Deposit form .jsp, payment form .jsp, transfer form .jsp. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So here we can just put some comments here, just so we can, right? This one is gonna be the transfer, right? And then this one is gonna be deposit, and then this one is gonna be withdraw. Okay, so at least now we can see. At least now it's a bit cleaner. And even if we need to make modifications, we know that we just have to go within the transfer form card. I mean, transfer forms, what you call it, pages, and then we can do our modifications here. All right. And plus, remember when we were doing the design, I forgot to actually add the form tags. So at least it's going to be much more maintainable now, so that when we know that if we need to make changes, we just have to come directly to that page. All right. So what else? I don't think there's anything. Let me just check. Hold on. Um, uh, I'm just checking my notes here. Hold on. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the off canvas body. All right, so that's the transfer forms. Now in the add accounts off canvas, this one we don't need to change because there's only one form within here. Okay, so this one is fine. Now, um, this is the add accounts. Okay, this is fine. So this the two transfer off canvas and add accounts off canvas. Now we can come back to the dashboard, right? And then here we can say, let's add a comment here and say transact off canvas, right? And then let's say pulls from the left. Let's just say that, right? Here is going to be the add accounts of canvas, right? Pulls from the right. Okay, so now we can come back here and select this, right? um, and do the exact same thing. All right, so what do we need? What we need is the, okay, we go into components, and then we just add either the off canvas or add account convert. So let's do that. Let's remove that. So this one is the transact one, right? So it's a transact of can. I actually named it wrong. Of canvas.jsp. I made a spelling mistake here, so let's just change that refactor. It's supposed to be off canvas, not cacus. All right. Let's see, off canvas. Okay, that's fine. And now we need to add the add accounts of canvas. All right. So I'm trying to make sure that I get it right, because the annoying part with Spring Boot is that whenever you make a change, you have to keep redeploying the file. So that is why I'm trying to make sure that I got everything correctly. All right. So these two are fine. Now the two main ones, which is the no accounts display or accounts display one. So this, like I said before, it's going to be dependent on whether or not the user has accounts or they don't have accounts. So for this, what we need to do is say C and then choose, right? We're going to say C choose, and then we can close it off here and say C, sorry, backslash C choose. It ends there. Okay. So within here, we're going to add another tag. So it's going to be C when, right? And then we're going to end it here. C when, right? And then here we're going to say C otherwise. All right. And let's close it off. C otherwise. Okay. All right. So C choose when and then C choose otherwise. So what are we doing? Here we need to say test, right? We're going to say equal to. So now remember how we were setting up where's the controller for the dashboard? So remember, we're going to use this list of accounts to check if this user does have accounts. Otherwise, if they don't, um, what it's going to do is it's going to choose between, actually, you know what? Let me set that up first. And then once we've got that up and running, then I'll explain a little bit better. All right. So here we're going to put an expression here. So what we first need to check, right? So we're going to take this value, user accounts, right? Right? And then let me uncomment them so you can see what I'm doing, right? And then we also have to do this here. Um, right? And then let's do that, right? Okay, so we're gonna check this value here, user accounts, and it's returning a list of accounts. Remember, a customer or user can have more than one bank account and all of that. So how we're gonna check this here is that we're gonna use this tag over here, the function tag, right? We're gonna use this function tag to check whether or not this user has accounts. Um, so here I'm gonna come in, right, and then we're gonna say fn, right, and then we're gonna use the length function, and then we're gonna place this within the brackets, and then we're gonna check if it's greater than 0, right? We're gonna check if this list of accounts is it greater than 0. Otherwise, if not, we're gonna then display a component within here. So what I then need to do is in here, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did here. We're gonna import the the accounts display, right? So is it accounts display? Yeah, all right, .jsp. Otherwise, we're gonna display the no accounts component. So this is where it's gonna come in here, and then we're gonna say, um, what is it? No accounts, um, no accounts display. All right. Now the other thing is this: if you want to, you don't need. If you don't have um, the other way you can import, you can use a JSP action. So it can be something like JSP, right, and then include, and then you can say page, which is going to be the same thing we did here, right? Something like that, and then just close it off there. So the nice thing about this one is that you don't need to include the JSTL core library as a dependency. You can just use this. But then with this, the problem is that without the without the JSTL core tags, you would have to write scriptlets in order to include this particular file. So you would have to write those scriptlets like this, um, what you call it, and then you can do something like request dot get attribute, and then you would do the same test checking as what I did here, and then include the file. But then with this, it looks messy. So that is why I said just include the JSTL core tag, and then at least now we can have options such as the choose function, where we can decide whether or not we want what we can do, what kind of functionality we can do within the page. All right, so yeah, if you want to, you can use this as well. It will do the exact same thing as this. So I'm just gonna stick with the core tags, and so yeah, right. So here, like I said, we are giving it this the choose option. Okay, so here we test to see if there's accounts available. If not, it's gonna display the account. If there is accounts, it will display the component for accounts display. Otherwise, it's gonna display this one. So this one over here, it's this section over here at the top, this part here, this part. So it'll display this along with this accordion if you have accounts. If you don't, it's gonna display this component here, the no registered accounts, which is this component here in the otherwise tag. Okay. So what is that? Let me remove that. All right. So yeah. So at least now we've cleaned up our dashboard a little bit. We've set these components up, and then even with the off canvas components, we will still get the the transact off canvas, this part of here with the forms, and then even this one with the no account add account off canvas. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys were able to follow what I was doing. So remember, the first one is here. Make sure you go one directory up, or make sure you make it as if you're going one directory up for all your resources, the JavaScript files, CSS files, etc. And then make sure you also include the footer, because the footer has the JavaScript file that controls our transaction forms and how they display and all of that. Yeah. All right. So I think that's all we needed to do within regards to cleaning up our dashboard. So here, oh sorry, uh, let's cut this comment out and paste it there. Display accounts, and then here, this one will say don't display accounts. All right. So and then also make sure all these tags here at the top, make sure you include them in all those files. Um, we're gonna need some of them, and so yeah. In any case, I think that's all we needed to do. So to clean up the dashboard. So in the next video, we should be able to work on testing our authentication process, We haven't done so so far because we needed to make sure that on the dashboard we display all the right things. There might be one other thing I think we should look at, which is this part of here, the total balance, right? So here, let's just actually do that now while we're still here. So here, remember we display 0 0. So here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say C. Actually, let's do this. Let's put that on the second line. So we're gonna say C CF, right? Okay, so CF, we're gonna test and see, right? We're gonna say, sorry, we're gonna need to add the expression tag, right? Sorry, it needs to be in quotes, right? So we're gonna say request scope. No, I'm lying. Yeah, it is the request scope dot be checking. We checking. What is it? We checking this one here, the total accounts balance. So we're gonna take that, right? Copy it, and then we're gonna say if that's not equal to null, and then we're gonna display that yeah, that value there, right? So value is gonna be the total balance, right? Um, yeah, I think we might need to use the request scope. I'm not sure, but we will check that out once we start logging in. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna display that. Otherwise, yeah, we will display that, and then otherwise it will just display what you call it 0 0, because by default that's what we set up within the accounts over here, you see. All right, in any case, yeah, I think that's it for the video. Hopefully you guys were able to follow what I was doing. Over here it's the footer. Okay, and then here it's the header. Okay, so yeah, we got the header, we got the footer down here, and then as for the rest of the stuff, they have been separated within the components. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think we can now proceed towards testing the authentication process for logging in. So yeah, I think that should be it in terms of the video for cleaning up the dashboard. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Again, if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you've liked what you've seen so far. And I'll see you guys within the next video. Cheers for now.